experience in meditation. And in one of those experiences, which so profoundly affected me because of the images that were retained as symbols of what I had seen, that following week in Salt Lake City, Utah, I found myself in a bookstore called The Cosmic Airplane, and by an act of synchronicity found a book on the shelf about shamanistic wisdom and read it and discovered that this shamanic journey was not similar to but identical to the images and symbols that had poured forth from my unconscious as a way to grasp and articulate what I had experienced in that deeper state of meditation. All right, I'll go there. One of my sons, I have nothing but genius children, right? All special. One of them worked at a place some of you may know. How many of you know the name Arrowhead? Okay. Well, he did the research for a lot of Arrowhead in 5 minutes. This is the time we all take psilocybin and just expand the time, make it 10 minutes. And I'll talk real fast, and you'll hear it real slow. He also is a devout Zen Buddhist, so we've had some great conversations. My family includes agnostics, atheists, neo-pagans, Wiccans, Jews, Christians, and Zen Buddhists. So you can, and those are just the children, you know. That's true. You can imagine what reunions are like. But what he experienced with psilocybin and what he read about in the experiments of psilocybin, he would always say to me, "I read about this, Dad," rather than "I had quite a trip last night." Was identical to what I was saying. It can be chemical. Of course it can be chemical, because what else are we but biochemical? And what else happens during deep states of meditation with or without medication but biochemical alterations? Hacking systems, hacking consciousness, hacking biology, hacking your life is essentially the same project. It's seeing connections between things that look disparate and different before, and seeing how they can be made together to do that for which they were not made or intended. What I'm trying to describe is trying to be a finger pointing to the moon. The finger is not the moon. Hacking is not the end of hacking. Hacking is practice for seeing complex systems as they are, arbitrarily constructed modules by a designer mind, which in turn you have labeled and named arbitrarily and built by social agreement into concepts that you can grasp, and which, based on familiarity and common use, become what we all agree socially is real. We call it consensus reality because this is what you have been trained to see, so this is what we agree to see, and this is what we do see. But as Kant said, concepts without percepts, something to touch, are empty, and percepts without concepts are blind. We need a concept and a percept. We need a way of reframing, and we need a way of tying it, anchoring it in what is reframed. Hacking is seeing what is in plain sight at the edges of the boundaries of the system, but which others overlook. There's a story in there, interview in here, a review of Joseph Marino. Marino wrote a book called Mind Wars. There's stuff on Gary Webb. There's all these things that I have down that I don't have time to get into that deal with what it means to explore the dark sides of these things, to go there. Marino tried to find out from neuroscientists, and he has great credentials. Read the review, read the interview I did with him, whatever it is in there. I did both. And Marino couldn't get anybody to open up. He said it was like the Manhattan Project, because so much of what we're trying to understand, that I'm trying to suggest in this talk, is in the dark spaces, in the black projects, behind the scenes. And in order to get it and see it, you have to have the wisdom and the time and the patience of a hacker. You have to have all day and all night. You have to be able to go there and do whatever is necessary to do the counterintelligence operation. Marino said he couldn't get anybody to talk to him, even though he had worked behind the fence at CIA and done other things with neuroscience. People are so sworn to secrecy. We can keep secrets, and we do. So just like Ben Rich said, it's all behind the fence. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's life since 1945. I asked at a meeting I was helping to facilitate the lead historian at the NSA, tell me the truth. What can we in this room, about 12 of us working on intelligence and ethics, what can we discuss with a reasonable understanding that we're talking about the same historical memory? And he said seriously, anything up until 1945. He wasn't kidding. He wasn't being funny. He was saying that since then, classification, compartmentalization, and the way we have bracketed and separated and kept hidden so many parts, even from those in the system, because they're not cleared to know what someone else is doing next door, has made the discipline, say, of cryptography. Khan wrote this wonderful history of cryptography. He may have been blessed and cursed to have seen the emergence of a discipline, the history of cryptography, and its demise as a possibility all in the same lifetime. Because it is no longer possible to access the formerly classified documents, even through processes of declassification, into which I could go in depth and detail as to why that makes it even more difficult. We can't get the facts, and that's why people do project conspiracy theories onto what they know they don't know, but they know it's happening and they don't know what it is, and that's why it takes hackers to break down the barriers that prevent us from building the big picture, because otherwise we have been betrayed by ourselves and have forgotten that our primary vocation and mission is to know. How can we know if what we must know as the building blocks of our knowledge is hidden? In a famous UFO story, I'm finishing, famous UFO story, it may be true, it may not be true, I don't know, but it's a beautiful line. At a time when there were a number of encounters with what looked like a lot like humanoid entities associated with ships that landed, which left marks and burned leaves and were photographed, at that time, one person was told that he would one day leave the earth. And he didn't mean he as an individual, but he as humanity. And what he reported he was told was this sentence: "Watchman, one day you will see the universe." Now, I personally, on the basis of decades of study with the best researchers on the phenomena, really think the extraterrestrial hypothesis is the best explanation for the data that refuses to go away. As Philip K. Dick said, reality is that which, when you stop believing in it, refuses to go away. It doesn't go away. People read the interview with Edgar Mitchell. One day you will see the universe. All I'm saying, after being here 15 years among you and learning from you, is that our response should be like Jodie Foster in Contact, where she said, "Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea." When what you see you thought you believed was an illusion, Maya, a veil that rips, what you're left with is what you see, just what's so. And the vocation of hacking is to teach us the technology of consciousness and the methodology of approach that enables us to do that, not only with the machinery we've built, which is fun enough, but with the vast universal machinery that seems to have been built prior to our arrival. I guess I have to stop, huh? All right. Thank you.